Alrighty, guys. Welcome, Ricky. We got Ricky, Tony filling in for Chris today, and we got Riff and myself, and we're here to have some fun.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm just happy we got a piece of Camel Crew here.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, by the way, we have a main channel called Pixel Game Squad where we game hunt. There's this crew that always shows up, uninvited, by the way, called the Camel Crew.
All the time.
Joe, Austin, and Tony. And Tony's filling in for Chris here today.
Yeah,
so.
because Chris is where?
He's running his expo.
Oh, yeah. He's up in Connecticut. He's going to have a good time with that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, nice.
we're going to go into our first topic, guys, and it's going to be consoles we never would collect for.
Okay, so consoles we would never collect for. I think there's a little bit of I think there's a lot of reasoning in why you wouldn't collect for a console, right? There's easy to be like a hater and be like, "Ooh, I'm a Super Nintendo guy, so Genesis sucks." But I think there's which I don't think that. But I think there's so much to be said about library size, prices, their availability of buying things, the way you buy them, how you buy them. I don't want to jump into it. I want to let eeny, meeny, miny, moe, kiss, you're the guest.
Man, in the hot seat.
If you sound dumb, the internet's forever gonna think
You're going to get
that
fried.
All right, take me down. Take me down.
No, you're
I
good.
think I gotta say it's the Sega Genesis.
Oh, I was just kidding when I said
No,
that.
but I'm serious. Yeah, it's just that it just wasn't really a console that I grew up with. You know, a lot of my family members and even me growing up, we were always playing Nintendo. So I think I had one cousin that had a Sega Genesis, and we played Sonic like all the time on it. But other than that, I don't know. It just wasn't very nostalgic to me. So
Now, have you ever played it in recent time where you're like, oh shoot, these games are good?
oh, that's a good question. I think I can't say I actually played the Sega Genesis. I played the Game Gear recently.
Got it. Not a good way to check out the
Yeah.
Bro, check out our last the previous podcast where we're just
Game
roasting.
Gear sucks. Game Gear sucks. Game Gear sucks.
The Game Gear's trash.
Yeah.
That's the best part, man.
No, it's interesting when there's systems like that because there are a lot of consoles out there where you'll be like, I didn't grow up with it, so I didn't enjoy it. I think this happened with a lot of people with the Super Nintendo. Even I think I was just recently watching an episode of The Game Chasers where Jay was saying he didn't grow up playing the Super Nintendo, but it's one of those consoles when you discover at an older age, you're like, oh crap, this is a console that I would collect for.
Yeah.
Ricky, what are your thoughts?
I actually love the Genesis, but here's the thing. I don't like collecting it loose. Like if I was to collect it, I don't like collecting loose.
Yeah. Genesis is a good console to collect for if you're going to do CIB.
Yes.
Because of the cases. They're plastic.
Yeah, the plastic cases
So
are really
good.
nice.
So genius, like back in the day.
So I have to know yours of what console you wouldn't collect for.
Probably Atari Jaguar.
Why?
I don't like the cart. Okay, so when I collect, I think of cart, I think of box, and if I do Atari Jaguar, then I have to collect it boxed, and that's gonna kill it for me. I don't know. I think it's a lot of Atari consoles because I think the same thing with the Lynx.
Yeah. I actually feel like I'd love to collect for the Lynx.
Yeah?
I don't know why. I think just the uniqueness of what it is to me is interesting. I know this will make people mad, but for me, 100% disc stuff. And I could almost go
Oh.
okay, here's me being a hater.
Wow.
I was going to say,
I know. PlayStation's really good.
because let me take this back. Oh, so you just said that, so we're gonna have a fight here. I can collect Dreamcast and be happy. I can collect even PS4, PS5, Xbox One stuff and be like, oh, cool. For some reason, I am such a PlayStation hater. I pick up PS2 games and I feel nothing in my soul. And I'm not saying I don't like PS2. I actually like the PS2. It's not my favorite console by any stretch of the imagination. But I pick it up and I don't have any initial reaction to picking up a PlayStation game.
You know what it is?
What?
It's probably because we find it so many times. That's the one disc we always find loose. It's always PS1, PS2.
Yeah.
Well,
Xbox
PS2
360
only.
for sure is the
Yours is
worst.
360?
No, I mean I would definitely collect
pick
for
up
it
loose?
because I actually played the games and stuff.
So what's yours?
Mine definitely is. It's gonna be PlayStation 2.
As well.
I don't like PlayStation 2 games as much as people would
Really?
think. But I mean, on top of it, I also wouldn't.
I'm a little
collect,
hurt here.
Okay.
I also wouldn't collect anything Genesis or Sega. I just wouldn't do it.
Really?
Master System, no care. Don't care.
That's a great case.
I love
Yeah.
to collect.
Nope.
I did collect Master System a lot and Genesis a lot.
Yeah.
I do like PlayStation 1, which I'm not a big fan of jewel case type stuff, even though Dreamcast and stuff, but I do like collecting for picking up PlayStation 1 stuff. But something about PS2, man, it's just dead inside.
It's the case, man. It's the case.
It's like a DVD case.
Yeah, true.
Dude, if you pick it up, it's like, dude, I'm just picking up another Blu-ray. Like, get out of here, dude.
I think
mean,
the
like, not a
PlayStation
Blu-ray, but yeah. Sorry.
I think the PlayStation 2 is just so nostalgic to me. You know, I think that's like during my high school days that I played video games, that was like it. I'm 34.
You had to think that's officially how you know you're old.
I know, right?
Dude, but he doesn't age, bro. Asians don't raisin, dude. Look at that.
That's true. That's
You
true.
do look pretty good.
Oh,
for
thank
your
you.
age.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I know.
like that.
I mean,
I still get carded.
really?
Yes. You'll be
Sitting
surprised.
next to me and Ricky, though, it brings down your cred a little bit because Ricky and I have been aging pretty decently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You guys
true.
are really good looking fellas.
I didn't know you were 65.
Now, what would you think would be the easiest set to collect for?
Okay, so
If you had all the money in the world to do it.
Oh, which by the way, I should have said PS2. The library is too huge for me. Go ahead.
You mean like small wise or like money wise?
I would say without like internet or anything like that, and you can only collect out in the wild, like game stores. Like, what would you collect for?
Oh,
What's easiest to collect for you to think just to grab?
I would think Wii U would be pretty easy because it's got a small library and they're
Oh,
all over
dude.
still.
That's
I know,
what
he
said.
doesn't like it, though.
Never collect for Wii ever. Never.
Okay, we
Dude.
just had so much, filler games.
There's like
There's a lot of
20%
filler
good games though.
Yes.
Dude, if I could
that's
put
what it
all
was.
those on like a punting thing, dude, I would be ready for it. I'd be on like a field day just kicking them.
Part of me wants to say, like, when I think about what's the easiest to collect for, my brain thinks like library size, like you said. So it's like, why don't I go Virtual Boy?
That's
right,
true.
Where it's
Like a small
super
library.
small.
Yeah.
But again, if like you said, throwing a chink in the chain,
No
if
internet.
there's no internet, then I technically never really see. I see the same Virtual Boy games. I think I'd actually be able to like accomplish an NES set before a Virtual Boy set.
That's true.
If there was no internet, because I see like Virtual Tennis and like the golf game, the Mario golf game. That's about it. Every
True,
once in a
true.
while, I'll see like something that mixes it up a little bit. But what are you laughing about?
Nothing. It's just that's literally, I was thinking tennis in my head. I was like, oh, he's gonna say Mario Tennis.
But what about like favorite though? Like what to you is just like
Would you keep like
Favorite to find
that you
out
could-
in the
Favorite to
wild?
collect or favorite
how about
to
this? How about this? Let's imagine
Yeah.
right now.
visualizing?
Men in Black collections are gone. Everything's gone. You're a game hunter. We're living our normal life. What are you going for? What's like your, oh my gosh, I love game collecting and I have nothing. Where are you going?
I'm going NES.
NES.
Because there's just so much, and I can always find it at the swap.
That is true. It's pretty easy to find NES, and NES is one of those consoles where, yes, you see a lot of the same ones over and over, but
Yeah.
you still stumble in a good amount to like random weird ones where you're like, oh, I haven't seen that before. NES is one of those like what I call like wormhole consoles,
Yeah.
where like to this day I'll be editing like a Retro Rick video, and I'm like, how have I never seen that game? I've been doing this for 12 years, like dedicating, in fact, a show called NES Pursuit.
I was going to say NES Pursuit.
How am I finding games that are on the NES that I'm still like, I don't remember that?
There's a lot of
There
that
are
kind of
about
stuff.
700 plus, right? So
What is the biggest library? Do we know?
Oh,
Is
probably Wii with
Wii?
all this, with all this
Oh.
stuff.
Library of Congress,
Dude, I feel like Switch is getting pretty big, but just because of the limited run stuff, it's getting huge.
Oh yeah, because they did like the third party open, so it's like everybody's just
Because they're doing
flooding it.
everything.
So like everything on their actual store, their e-store, right? It's like that's where you're talking about the flooding of the market of the
Well,
games?
even
Yeah,
physical,
even
they're
physical,
kind of
dude.
dropping left and right.
Really?
But they're not bad games. Well, I mean, maybe there are
As
some.
far as eShop goes, I feel like when the eShop first started, every game that came out, I was like, banger.
It was good,
banger,
right? Yeah.
Banger. And all of a sudden, it went to like 99-cent, like sketchy anime games.
Yes.
Where I was like, Tony, what have your people done?
I can't take credit for that one.
No, so Tony, what would you collect for?
I think it would be the N64.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
lot
I
of
like
nostalgia for the N64.
I love the 64.
And I feel like there's still a lot of N64 out there. Like we can still find consoles, you can still find good games out there. So I think that's still in circulation, you're able to find a lot of it.
Interesting. And I feel like it's a good size too.
Yeah.
It's not too big, it's not too small. It's like that perfect, like you feel like, because the hard part about big collecting is like you feel like you've been collecting forever and then you feel like you've gotten nowhere. Like I know Gabo's in his NES whole thing that he is where he's like trying to get the full set. And
Insane.
sometimes when I ask him though, he has Gabo. Well, he did it kind of a different way. He kind of went for a lot of the bangers first, which is cool and unique. Definitely a unique spin on it. But I will say, when he tells me the number, a lot of times I'm like,
why is it so low?
Why is it so low? Like it feels like such a small amount because the library is so big.
Right, right.
As opposed to someone on, N64, I do not know how many games, like 300 to 400.
Yeah, I think there's 300 or 400.
Something like that. When people start collecting immediately, they're like, I'm 140 in. It's like, you're halfway there.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like that. Both NES, PS2, just feels dauntingly.
There's a lot going
There's
on.
no end in sight.
I don't know, man. I think definitely what I would pick is GameCube.
GameCube.
Oh, yeah.
GameCube, just because of the fact that, like,
Wow.
if I'm doing a collection, I want to be able to do it with my friends, right? So, like, most 4-player games is pretty much on GameCube that are, like, pretty much playable, right? Like, I don't want to hand my friend an N64 controller, trash controller, but great games. But if I hand him a GameCube controller, oh, dude, Smash Bros, Mario Kart.
That started in N64. Both of those.
Yeah, but bro,
yeah.
we played those, and the graphics on those are trash.
They're good. Hey, he lost, so he's kind of
Yeah, I'm a little salty about it. I'm like this. I'm like, salt, dude.
You know what's a fun way to find out stuff when you're buying it?
What?
Pricecharting.com, the sponsor.
Yay!
Chris
let's
isn't here,
go.
so Curtis has been known to kind of stutter a little bit when he goes into. He doesn't when he's talking normal, but when he goes in like professional mode, he starts. Curtis, tell us about Pricecharting.com. Right? Read it, bro. No mess ups.
All right,
if you mess up, you get smacked.
All right, just a couple of things. We got things that you can find on Pricecharting.com. I'm going to say they have a dashboard where you can collect video games, trading cards, comic books. One of my favorites I always like to bring up is the U.S. coins. And then another thing is, I'm going to say sports cards. And those things are kind of a little bit uncommon to us in that type of field. But they have things that you can do, like people can easily track prices and previous sales. And
Very nice.
I'm going to tell you one right thing. You can also add your collection to the site. So another thing that price charting, why you keep looking at me like that, dude? I'm like,
Because I'm in shock. He's reading it so well.
I know,
You're
right?
doing great.
One of the things that also like is really cool about pricecharting.com is like the fact that like it's just so accessible, it's free to use, and like one of those things that I like to do is like when we're out at the swap, it's just easy to type it in real quick, and you're like, wow, like this is what it's going for, and then you're not like getting kind of played over on the price.
Yeah.
Another thing is that
Well,
they have added is like you can look up collection sets for like Jordan.
That's what I was gonna say.
Another big thing is Pokemon cards.
That's huge.
How crazy is it right now in the Pokemon scene where it's just like you don't even know what cards out? Like,
No.
everything that comes to like grading, everything that comes down to the fact that like the rarity of it, like if you had a base set or you had an Earth fossil, and
And you did talk about subscription, which we will talk about
later on
about their subscription
and
service.
other features that they're going to be included with another app coming out later out this month.
Hey, bro, tease them, all right?
I
Hold it till the next one, all right? So thank you, pricecharting.com.
Thank you.
And check them out. Curtis, give me one more question to follow up with our topic,
Oh
bro.
man, let me get it back into the
Ooh.
let me get it back into go mode, guys.
Oh, wow. I like the hair, by the way.
So I mean, if you are to collect and you don't have like the preference of collecting for a certain game, does it matter if it comes in the box or with the manual?
I think it just depends on the console.
Yes.
Right? Some really hold some good regard with the boxes. Well, I will say everything looks good with the boxes, but I would think the majority of collectors, when they collect, aren't counting it like if I have the box, it counts. I think it's just if you find the game, it counts. But you know what?
Uh-oh.
You crappy PlayStation 2. Nobody buys just discs because nobody cares.
One of the why did you,
I have no rebuttal.
I got him.
I have no rebuttal.
He's
nothing to
like,
say.
he goes to me, Mama, does
I'm
the
sorry.
PlayStation
do you have
2
a favorite
suck?"
game that you would say that's on the PS2?
Oh, yeah.
On the PS2? Oh, man. You know, I played a lot of horror games back in the day on
Okay.
PS2 with my friends. Or I just shouldn't say I played it. My friends played it, and I was there with them. So that's like, Fatal Frame.
Were you
all
like
those.
hiding behind them like, oh my god, look at this, man, these are really doing it today?
I was like, no, don't do that,
By the way,
guys. This is so scary.
Good call on Fatal Frame.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one,
Who
right?
on?
Sorry, say that one more time.
You don't speak that language?
I can't understand your dialect.
Have you
actually.
played any like the Silent Hill games and all that stuff?
Yeah, Silent Hill. Me and the Camel Boys met up and we plugged in Silent Hill and played it over again.
Sick.
It was fun.
Where was
yeah.
the invite?
There wasn't any actually.
Right on, bro. Nice.
I don't think
But
we heard.
next time we'll have to invite you guys for a game
yeah,
night.
just quit leaving us out, dude. One thing, did you say what you would want to collect for?
Oh, if I had to start over again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say NES like Ricky, but Ricky and I'm going to count it as a double because we're always together. So I would say that I would go for Super Nintendo.
Man, that's a huge library too.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting because I feel like the NES is like my favorite thing of all time, but I know the Super Nintendo is like what I enjoy playing more because I know the games are better. Said it before, said it again. And people hate when I say it. They call me old man. I think peak of gaming, Super Nintendo.
It was.
It very much was.
Just the peak of good
I-
games and
Why did-
quality and
No,
color and
it's-
music and style and commercials. It was just
Curtis is
Zero.
yes, little
Zero
child.
nostalgia for it. But I did play
Oh.
Sunset Riders.
Let's
Oh,
go.
how'd you like it?
What'd you think?
Yeah.
Huh?
Did you like it?
It's honestly not too bad. I
Okay,
really
good.
liked it. I was like, dude, when you're like running through a saloon, it's like you have to angle the gun like to shoot them.
Yeah, it's
Did
great.
you play by yourself or with someone?
Dude, of course, play by myself. You think I have friends?
Dude. 2 players or like 4 players is insane. It's
Why are
way
you rubbing
more
it in? He can't even get 2 players. Trying to tell me 4 players in. You know, it goes up to 17 players.
What would you think would be the priciest set to collect for?
Ooh.
Man, I don't know. That'd be really hard. That's a hard one. How big is Dreamcast library?
I know.
What?
Neo Geo.
Oh,
Is
Neo
it
Geo
really?
is
But is
very
it-
Actually,
expensive.
no, because there's not. I don't think there's enough of them. But they are. That is a pricey console.
AES for sure.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to Twisted, shout out to homie. He told me he had to sell his entire set, but like one of those games was Metal Slug.
Okay.
And I guess the market value on AES is like 40 to 50,000 just for one game.
I'm gonna guess. I'm probably completely wrong here. Might be completely wrong. I'm gonna say PS1. Don't know if I'm right.
Most expensive
Dude,
to collect for?
I just
Really?
think they have so many of those expensive RPGs.
They
Oh,
do.
that's
That's
true.
You know
That's
who you could
true.
ask? You could probably ask Dan and Elisa, but they would definitely have
Hold
the
on,
whole
let me call
collection for it. Yo, ring, ring, ring. Wait, remember we did that bit?
Phone call. Wait, give it to us good.
You guys, but you guys do remember where that's from,
Wait,
right? It's
Pokemon.
from Pokemon.
Yes.
It goes ring, 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 phone call, phone
Yeah,
call.
yeah.
Oh, it's
Yo,
joy.
no.
There's joy.
Don't
He didn't
put
watch
it into Pokemon. Just say it's you.
Don't give anyone else credit.